health, inspiration, love, life. Peace, family. I got a very good special guest on my show today. He's a childhood friend. We grew up on the same block, same neighborhood. So basically, we come from the same mud and soil. And just to be standing in front of this brother now is an absolute blessing, man. He's helped so many people along the way, including me. He introduced me to the stock market and gave me some financial tips, which has been beneficial for me and so many others. How you doing, King?
Peace, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed.
So let's go to the beginning. How was you introduced to finance? Because where we come from, we wasn't really taught financial literacy. So how would you introduce to the stock market and finance?
I just wanted more, bro. That's what it basically boils down to. You know, working a job, you know, and depending on, you know, that company,
right,
to give me that income so I can pay my bills and take care of my family. You know, that wasn't good enough for me. Because any day the company can let me go, then what I'm left with, right?
Right.
And at the same time, I can't leave my 9 to 5 to my family. It don't work like that, you know. So
that's true.
You know, I'm always, you know, watching CNBC, you know, reading the newspapers, and actually it started with checking my 401k.
Right.
So once I started, I'm talking about after 7-8 years, checking my 401k and see where they was putting my money.
Right? Wow. Okay.
And I recommend 401k to anybody.
Right.
You know, if your company offers it, go ahead and do it because it's free money.
Right,
for retirement. But I started researching the funds that they were putting my money in.
How they was using your funds, right? And a lot of us don't do that. Exactly. We'll just forget about it and we'll just keep working.
Exactly. And I realized it was all bonds. So I'm like, all right.
All right, explain what bonds are.
So it's pretty much like backed by the government. So you know, you got your stocks, then you got your bonds. Your bonds is going to pay a lower yield than a stock. So when I'm seeing 2%,
wow.
I'm like, wait, hold on. I just seen savings accounts that's paying more than 2%.
Right.
And part of the market crash, when the housing market crashed in like 2008,
right.
A lot of those was junk bonds.
Wow.
And that's how the market crashed, because they were selling these junk bonds to people. So I was like, no, I got to get out of these bonds.
And this is perfectly legal.
Yeah.
Selling these junk bonds.
Back then, nobody was really paying attention.
Right. You know, nobody was monitoring it.
It was so hot.
Right.
The housing market, it was so hot. But the problem is supply and demand. They ran out of, you know, the good bonds.
Right.
So they started just putting anything in portfolios.
Is that equivalent to the predatory
little of money down.
Right.
But they was doing jumbo loans back then.
Right.
So, and jumbo loans are still available, but the problem is you'll start off paying, you know, the bare minimum.
Right.
And then 2 years later, the price just
your interest rates go off the roof.
And people.
And I remember that they was back then in 0809 speaking to lenders, $500,000 loans to people that's only making $40,000 a year.
Makes no sense.
That was crazy.
Makes no
sense. They was yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, so you know, a lot of people got hit hard by it.
Right.
You know, and you know, to be completely honest, I benefited from that.
Right.
Because people started going into foreclosure.
Right. Opportunity comes from chaos.
Exactly. You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to excel based off of somebody's pain.
Right.
But I took advantage of that.
You took advantage of it.
Houses were dirt cheap. The government was paying you to buy houses. That's how I bought my first house.
That's awesome. Wow.
Luckily, you know, them jumbo loans, and I didn't do any of that.
Right.
And I still had that house to the day. That was my first house, maybe 11 years ago.
Nice.
I think I bought it in 2009, so going on 12 years, I believe. But you know, people are so eager, you know, to get ahead that they don't realize the trap that's being set for them. And unfortunately, a lot of people got caught.
And that comes with not being financial literate and doing the due diligence and the self research.
Exactly.
Right.
And you know, for us, we're not taught that.
Right.
Your schools don't teach you that.
They don't.
You know, a lot of our parents, they don't know.
They wasn't taught. Right.
So
they wasn't taught that.
So it's almost like trial and error.
It is.
And that's what was going on. So now it's important, the little bit of information that we have, to share it. Because if you have something to share, I have something to share, that's only going to make us stronger, make our community stronger.
Absolutely. I am so liberated by the internet, technology, and the opportunities that has given our community, so we can get in the game, so we can be more informed. And you actually created a financial group, which I'm a part of, teaching financial literacy. You give out stock tips and so forth and so forth. Tell us why you created that group on the book.
Well, the bro Miles created that.
Oh, that was Miles. Got you.
Yeah, we like, he'll throw some stocks out there, and I'll throw some stocks out there, just on our personal pages.
Right.
Right. And you know, someone made a comment like, "Yo, we need a group." Miles jumped on it right away, created that group, which is very important. You can see that group is growing.
It is.
I made a post in that group maybe a couple weeks ago, just outlining all the stock picks from the previous year since the group started.
Right.
And the growth in those stocks and how spot on we were with a lot of those stocks.
Yes, I've been,
a lot of people money.
Yep.
And that's important.
Yep. I pay attention. I got a lot on my plate, but I do pay attention when y'all throw something out there, and I definitely zoom in. And Plug Power was one of them, and I benefited off of that. I bought it, I think, $8 a share, and it jumped up crazy. Yep. So Plug was definitely one of those that y'all threw out there that I caught. I appreciate y'all for that one.
And Plug, and it's funny because, you know, I've been investing for years, right?
Right.
But more so into ETFs, exchange traded funds.
Okay, explain what that is.
It's a fund. Some of them track the S&P 500, which is your top 500 companies.
Okay.
So it gives you automatic diversity. So if I got $100, I'm putting it into an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Now I got 500 companies in my portfolio.
In your portfolio, nice.
So it's all rolled into basically one stock.
Nice.
So if one company is down in that portfolio, right?
Right.
The others are thriving.
Right.
That price ain't gonna drop drastically.
So they're holding each other down, like in that way type of way. Exactly. One fall, I still hold you up. I'm the crutch. Nice.
Exactly.
Nice.
So and I recommend that for all new beginners, because it's not easy to pick stocks, right?
Right.
And to get into the S&P 500, you have to be a legit company.
Right.
You got your Teslas in there now, Amazon, Microsoft, all the big companies, blue chip companies. So I definitely, encourage everybody, if you get in, start that way.
ETFs.
But the crazy thing about Plug is, at that time I was only doing ETFs.
Right.
And I bought Plug when it was like $2.82.
Crazy. Crazy.
But I sold it. For like maybe 30 cents more.
Right.
I didn't know anything.
Right, you didn't know, right.
And back then, I was scary too.
Right.
Now,
being conservative.
Yep. Me personally now, if I put my money into a company, I'm gonna buy 100, 150, stocks at a time.
Right.
Back then, I was buying 2 stocks.
Right, conservative. That's where I'm at now. I'm very nervous and conservative, but baby steps. I'm gradually getting more confident as I learn. Absolutely.
Just get your feet wet.
Don't go
all out.
Right, that's what I'm doing. I'm just getting my feet wet, and let's talk about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, is at almost 57,000 now.
Yeah.
How you feel about that and the Bitcoin revolution on the market and all that good stuff?
So to be completely honest, I'm still learning crypto.
Right.
I'm invested. I'm definitely invested. I think crypto is the future. If you think about it, fiat money, right? Your dollar.
Right.
Your dollar used to be backed by gold.
Right.
That's what gave the dollar the value.
Right.
The dollar is no longer backed by gold. Right? The a dollar bill is only worth a dollar bill because the government says it's worth a dollar. So that's the value coming from our government. We already know how the government operate, but that's another story.
Right.
Crypto, it's the future, man. You're gonna be able to do everything with crypto.
Crypto.
Right. I think I first got into crypto when it was maybe 12 grand.
Right.
Right. Some people got into crypto when it was like 5 cents.
Yep.
But you got so many variations.
Yes.
And they're setting out to do the same thing that the dollar does. Like CeeLo, that's a crypto, right? Their plan is to be the Venmo of crypto, peer-to-peer payment.
Wow.
So definitely get into crypto. I have to do more research, but while I'm doing that research, I'm definitely invested.
No, definitely.
The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is they can only make a certain amount of coins. Only a certain amount of coins are mined. Especially during this pandemic, you see with the dollar, they're just printing money, right? So that's going to lead to inflation, and the value of the dollar is going to go down. With certain cryptos, there's a cap on it. So as long as you have that demand with a limited supply, it's gonna increase. I think they said what, 250,000.
That's what that's what it's projected, man. So do you recommend people should definitely invest into Bitcoin?
Definitely get into Bitcoin.
Definitely. I know I am.
Yeah, get into Bitcoin. There's so many variations, so definitely do your research. And I tell everybody that even with stock, don't take my word for anything. Because the problem is now there's so many like Facebook groups and YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is.
Hey, buy this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a pump and dump.
Right.
A pump and dump is, a few people get ahead of the curve. They pump up the stock like it's the next best thing.
Right.
Everybody gets in, which makes the price rise, and then they pull their money out, and then the stock go plummeted. So definitely do your research on anything you're gonna put your money in.
Recently in January, we had a crazy frenzy with the GameStop and the AMC. Is that an example of what you're just talking about now?
Perfect example. Straight pump and dump. AMC movie theaters are closed.
Yes, they are.
There's no reason for the price to increase the way it is.
No reason at all.
You can always get, you can always pay for the future value of a company.
Right.
But what they did with GameStop was absolutely ridiculous. You had some folks on Reddit pumping it up, like it's the next best thing. I think it went to over $400.
Yep.
From $11. By the way, we did call out GameStop in the group at $11. And I wasn't a fan back then.
Right.
But, the way that whole thing went down was just dirty from the beginning, right? They pumped the stock, everybody jumped in. Well, the problem is once it jumped in, you had, Robin Hood, who's the face of what happened. But once it skyrocketed, they stopped allowing people to buy it. So they was saying you can sell your position, but you can't, buy the stock.
Right.
The problem with that, if no one can buy, and I'm only forced to sell, then the price is going to go down.
Yep.
Right. And they was trying to say it was the retail investors against these big hedge funds.
Right.
We got to be careful getting caught up in that, honestly, because a lot of these hedge funds, they were making money on both sides of it.
On both sides of it, right.
And the guy that started it, that was supposed to be for the retail investors, he was actually a professional.
Wow.
Right? He had licenses and everything. So it was a pump and dump. I think this week it dropped down. It was $40, $50 the last time I checked.
Right.
So imagine the folks that bought it at $400 or $500. They're stuck. They're negative $350, $400 per stock that they bought. Blew up their account. A lot of people life savings went. And that's why I say, once the internet starts talking about it, chances are you're too late.
Yeah.
That's why it's important we do our research.
You got to do the due diligence. You have to conduct your own investigation, and please do your research when you're jumping into this stock market, because there is a lot of corruption. It's corruption in everything. So it's a lot of deceit in that as well. Yep. And you definitely have to do the due diligence.
Everybody's out for their own benefit.
Absolutely. What is hedge funds?
So hedge funds is your major companies, right?
Okay.
You got Citadel, and that's another thing with the whole Robin Hood thing. You know, it's my belief that they shut it down because Citadel was losing money. So Citadel had, you know, a short squeeze on GameStop. They were shorting GameStop.
Right.
And shorting is basically making a bet that the stock is going to go down. Well, the problem is, you know, if Citadel is affected, and Citadel is one of Robin Hood's biggest investors, the playing field is not level. You know, so I truly believe they stopped it and wanted the price to go drop because they got that call from Citadel like Robin Hood.
Right.
I'm losing millions, and I think they lost like $6 billion. You know, one of the groups that they funded. But Citadel and hedge funds is basically an investment firm. A large investment firm.
Got you.
And a lot of these investment firms, these hedge funds, they short stocks. They're betting that price is going to go down. So they have large holdings.
Large holdings.
We can't compete with them.
Right.
They got billions of dollars at their disposal.
Right.
We're just retail investors.
Right.
We take the pennies that we can afford.
Yes.
You know, and that's another thing. All the money we're putting into the stock market, we need to make sure we're willing to lose that money.
That's a very good. Yep.
You know, because right now the stock market is booming.
Yep.
The stock market is up. Anybody can make money in this market currently.
Right.
You know, what are you going to do if the market crashed?
Right. So be mindful.
Always be mindful.
Always be mindful on how you to invest and what you invest in. Don't be out here throwing your whole life savings. Don't be out here going in a frenzy. You know, it's okay to be passive aggressive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my approach to it.
And
be passive aggressive.
And always diversify.
Yep, spread it out.
All your eggs in one basket. You know, pick a couple good companies, you know. And it's good, like I'm an aggressive investor.
Right.
And I know there's a chance I can lose that money.
Right.
But I'm smart with it too. You know, I do a lot of speculative plays.
Right.
But a lot of research goes into that. So it may seem aggressive from the outside looking in, but my bet is really smart.
Right.
I don't have a lot of losers.
Yeah, you don't your risk assessment is pretty good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
High reward, low risk.
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting from you. And that's the approach I suggest everybody should try to take. Because there's opportunities out there. But like Mr. Tony Frank said, do your research, do your due diligence. And one of the groups that Miles and the one we're part of is definitely helpful in your journey, in our journey towards that as well. How early do you think children should learn financial literacy?
Day one.
Wow.
Day one. One thing I used to do with my kids, and I need to get back to that, every weekend I will give them an assignment to complete. They can work on it together, they can do it separately, but I'll just give them a term. You know, what's compound interest? I need you to go study that, tell me what it's about, how can it benefit you?
Very important.
And get back to me. You know, what's interest rates? Teach them from day one, right? We don't have to force feed them, but because you want them to be interested. The more interested the kid is, the more they're going to learn.
Right.
But you have to instill financial literacy in your children.
Yes.
You know, I talk to my kids about the stock market.
It's good.
Right? My 14-year-old recently came to me. He was like, all right, so when you going to sit down and let's look over charts?
Wow.
So I was like, okay, we'll start doing it, right? Because they're at home, they're homeschool, remote learning. So I'm gonna start doing that with him.
That's awesome.
You know, but you feed them so they can become interested.
Let them know
how it's gonna benefit them. But don't wait until they're 20, 21, 25. Right. Day one, right? And if you're in the stock market, we should probably, I would recommend opening an account for your child.
For your child.
Right?
And how would you go about that? You know, a lot of people don't know how to start and begin. What would you suggest the good route to start to try to open up an account for your children?
Contact your brokerage. If you already have an account with, let's say, Fidelity, contact them. Tell them you want to open an account for your minor. The account is going to be in your name.
Right.
You turn it over to your kid when he comes of age.
Of age, nice.
And in that account, you won't pay any taxes on your unrealized gains or any of that.
Right.
But start building that account for them.
Right.
Because that interest builds up. That compound interest builds up. Which
right.
is powerful. Compound interest is powerful.
And what you mean by build up, you mean making deposits and right.
You can go to ETF routes, right? Okay. Inside their portfolios.
Right.
ETF routes. Because, you know, I think it was Warren Buffett that said time in the market beats trying to time the market every time. So the longer you're in the market, the more profitable you're going to be.
You'll become,
So day one, as soon as you can, because it doesn't matter their age.
Right.
You can set it up day one.
So you tell them right now, people out there that got 11, 12-year-olds, 15, it's never too late. Go ahead, contact a brokerage and get it popping.
Yep, never
That's
too late
what's up.
Never too early.
Never too late and never earlier the better. That's what's up. Mr. Tony Frank, I thank you so much for sharing your time. Would you be interested in the future to even come to a community center or come and conduct some financial literacy classes to some kids maybe in the future?
Definitely, because I got so much more to say. And I was going to get with you because I know you're very connected in the community. So I got some things in mind that I want to talk to you about so we can start reaching the youth.
That's what's up.
Sooner. So
that,
definitely,
man, that sounds awesome. I think that would be very rewarding for us because we're giving back, and definitely rewarding to these kids. Because sometimes some of these parents I had don't have the know-how like our parents did, and they don't have the patience to teach that. So maybe we can get that going and, you know what I'm saying, break the cycle and pass that knowledge on to the next generation.
Yep, because we're going to get it to where the parents are now the child is now putting their parents on. Stuff, right?
There you go.
We live in a different generation.
That's right. We can learn from them. That's right.
Everything.
Right.
You know, it's important that we listen to our children. So the more knowledge, you know, we build in them, they can pass it on to their parents, they can pass it on to their peers. More importantly, they can pass it on to their kids and their grandkids.
That's right.
The goal is to have and create generational wealth.
That's right.
Right. I just don't want to get wealthy. I want 3 generations, 4 generations down the line that's carrying my name.
That's carrying your name. That's right.
My ultimate goal is for my kids not to have to work a 9 to 5.
That's dope.
That's my ultimate goal.
Real quick.
Absolutely want to.
Recently, I seen you posted that you just recently left your full-time job and are you just a full-time trader now, or?
I'm working on some things.
Okay.
We definitely need to do
all right, we'll chop that up. We'll chop that up. Yeah. Listen, he don't want to reveal the recipe too much to y'all, but yeah, man, that sounds good. Thank you again. This is Hill TV. We educate and uplift the community with visual media. If anybody wanted to get some mentorship, just some genuine counsel or advice on finding, do you welcome to inbox you on Facebook?
Inbox me on Facebook.
Cool.
Tony Frank. That's probably my only social media.
Right.
But definitely inbox me. I'm more than willing to answer questions to the best of my ability. And
cool.
Even if I don't have the answer, I'll lead you in the right direction.
You definitely will, because you definitely did it for me. Thank you so much, my brother. Health, inspiration, love, live.